Good morning, everyone. My name is Xylon from grade 8, and my main interest is mixed martial arts because to me, it is much more than just scrappy violence. It is a complex art form where everything has to be calculated, precise, and well planned. Fighters are not only training their bodies, but also their minds, forging discipline and ability to adapt under pressure. For my Passion Talk research, I looked into 7 former UFC champions, which included George St. Pierre, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Demetrius Johnson, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, and Jack Della Maddalena and Israel Adesanya. I researched advice that they gave up-and-coming fighters through their interviews and their quotes. The first theme that I noticed was resilience. All these fighters talk about the importance of pushing through adversity and believing in yourself. Charles Oliveira once said, "You have to believe in yourself even when nobody else does," which is especially powerful since as a young child, Charles was diagnosed with rheumatic fever and told by doctors that he might not be able to walk ever again. Despite his challenges, he later became UFC lightweight champion, and his story shows us how resilience and self-belief can overcome obstacles. Another important theme that I noticed was to always be prepared. UFC fighter Dustin Poirier said, "There's more life than just fighting. Have a plan." His message is not just about working hard, but also about balance and preparation. He believes people should always have goals outside of one area of life, and to be prepared if something goes wrong. This mindset also connects back to resilience, because having a plan helps people recover from setbacks. The final theme that I found was simplicity and mastery of the basics. Jack Della Maddalena once said, "Simple things done well win fights." Similarly, UFC Hall of Famer Demetrius Johnson advises people to learn the basics and master them. These fighters believe that success does not come from flashy moves alone, but instead, greatness comes from consistently doing the fundamentals at a high level. Which brings me to my 7-word statement: taking it on the chin to progress. This means that you must be durable and able to survive the storm in order to achieve success. This message is especially important to me because it highlights the challenges, dedication, and dangers involved in fighting. Martial arts challenges both your body and your mind. It is a high-contact sport where only strong-minded people can truly compete and improve. From my own personal experience, I have had to push myself to train even when I was injured, exhausted, or just unmotivated to train. There have also been times in sparring where I was so tired that I couldn't even keep my hands up and had to rely purely on my toughness and determination to keep going. Experiences like these taught me that martial arts is not only about skill, but also about discipline, perseverance, grit, and mental strength. It forces you to stay composed under pressure and continue pushing forward, even when your body wants to quit. In February 2025, I broke my hand and pushed my pinky knuckle very far back. The injury is known as a boxer's fracture, and I had to undergo surgery to get it back to its original position. The surgery included having to put metal rods inside my hand, which strained out my fingers and made my right hand completely useless. Even though my hand didn't fully recover until October 2025, I returned to training around June while I was still recovering. Just being able to make a fist was already a massive accomplishment at the time, and it was still in a lot of pain. I struggled with things that once felt normal, like finishing takedowns in wrestling or hitting pads in Muay Thai. Even though it was painful, and I even considered quitting, I continued to train and tried my best without complaining. The recovery process was grueling, both physically and mentally. I questioned if my hand would ever be the same again. Regardless, I was able to push through because of my passion for martial arts. The experience taught me resilience, patience, and discipline. And to this day, I still have scars from the surgery that remind me where each metal rod went through my body. These remind me of the challenges I overcame and how much martial arts means to me. Last Saturday, I was given the opportunity to prove that I was not just pretending to be tough and resilient. I stepped into the ring for my very first Muay Thai fight, terrified but determined. I truly believed that I would get the win, but unfortunately, I lost. The referee stopped the fight with a technical knockout, even though I was still fully conscious. The reason she stopped the fight was because I was not defending punches and I was fighting with emotion rather than skill. At first, I was in a state of grief. I was disappointed that I lost in the thing that I loved most. I was also upset with the referee since I was not knocked out, and told her that I wanted to keep going before she ended the fight without giving me a 10 count and while I was still on my feet. But after taking the time to reflect, I realized something important about my values. I had already achieved what I came here to do. I never gave up on myself and fought in a brutal war of a fight. Every time I was asked if I wanted to continue, my answer was always the same: let's go. Quitting was never an option. Even while hurt and on wobbly legs, I fought back, throwing head kicks that had the crowd on their feet and refusing to go down when 99% of people would. Even outside of martial arts, I've been able to recover from hardships time and time again. I was able to fully turn my life around, even when I saw no hope before. I didn't need to prove my durability, but I did. That fight taught me that courage is not about having a perfect record or getting your hand raised. Courage is about continuing to fight when things stop going your way and willing to go out on your shield. The goal was never simply to win. It was to show the world that I could take any punch that it threw at me. To fight with heart and to prove to myself that I could endure hardship without breaking while also entertaining and inspiring those in attendance. And I did exactly that. For as long as it lasted, it was an outstanding back and forth war. We both bit down on the mouthpiece and traded blows like warriors on a battlefield. In the end, a loss is just a number on a record. A loss is what all great champions need to recover from. It does not define me, my resilience, or my future. I can still rebuild my passion. I can still rebuild myself and patch my flaws. But something I believe that does define me is a quote that I thought about after my loss. Diamonds don't need gold to shine. So, will you quit at the 10 count, or will you keep pushing, even if you haven't seen light at the end of the tunnel yet? Thank you.